Hello my dear students, welcome to Teacher at Home. Today class we are going to learn the fourth chapter, Climate. In the last two chapters, you have read about the landforms and the drainage of our country. These are the two or the three basic elements that one learns about the natural environment of any area. In this chapter, you will learn about the third, that is atmospheric condition that prevail over our country. Why do we wear woolen clothes in December? Why not? It is why it is hot and uncomfortable in the month of May and why it rains in June and July. Answer to all these questions can be found out by studying about climate of India. Climate refers to the sum total of weather conditions and variations over a large area for a long period of time, more than 30 years. Weather refers to the state of the atmosphere over an area at any point of time. Elements of weather and climate are the same: temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity, and precipitation. You may have observed that the weather conditions fluctuates very often even within a day, but there is some common pattern over a few weeks or months. That is, days are cool or hot, windy or calm, cloudy or bright, and wet or dry. On the basis of the generalized monthly atmospheric conditions, the year is divided into seasons such as winter, summer, or rainy season. The world is divided into a number of climatic regions. Do you know what type of climate India has and why it is so? We learn about this in this chapter. The climate of India is described as the monsoon type. In Asia, this type of climate is found mainly in the south and southeast. Despite an overall unity in the general pattern, that are perceptible regional variations in the climatic conditions within the country. Let us take two important elements, temperature and precipitation, and examine how they vary from place to place and season to season. In summer, the mercury occasionally touches 50 degrees Celsius in some parts of the Rajasthan desert, whereas it may be around 20 degrees Celsius in Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir. On a winter night, temperature at Dras in Jammu and Kashmir may be as low as minus 45 degrees Celsius. Thiruvananthapuram, on the other hand, may have a temperature of 22 degrees Celsius. In certain places, there is a wide difference between day and night temperatures. In the Thar Desert, the day temperature may vary at 50 degrees Celsius and drop down to near 15 degrees Celsius the same night. On the other hand, there is hardly any difference in day and night temperature in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands or in Kerala. Let us now look at precipitation. There are variations not only in the form and types of precipitation but also in its amount and the seasonal distribution. While precipitation is mostly in the form of snowfall in the upper parts of the Himalayas, it rains over the rest of the country. Annual precipitation varies from over 400 cm in Meghalaya to less than 10 cm in Ladakh and western Rajasthan. Most parts of the country receive rainfall from June to September, but some parts like the Tamil Nadu coast get a larger portion of its rain during October-November. In general, coastal areas experience less contrast in temperature conditions. Seasonal contrasts are more in the interior of the country. There is a decrease in rainfall generally from east to west in the northern plains. These variations have given rise to variety in lives of people in terms of the food they eat, the clothes they wear, and also the kind of house they live in. Climatic controls. There are six major controls of the climate in any place. They are latitude, altitude, pressure, and wind system, distance from the sea, ocean currents, and relief features. Due to the curvature of the earth, the amount of solar energy received varies according to the latitude. As a result, air temperature generally decreases from the equator towards the poles. As one goes from the surface of the earth to higher altitudes, the atmosphere becomes less dense and temperature decreases. Hills are therefore cooler during summers. The pressure and wind system of any area depend on the latitude, altitude of the place. Thus, it influences the temperature and rainfall pattern. The sea exerts a moderating influence on climate. As the distance from the sea increases, its moderating influence decreases and the people experience extreme weather conditions. This condition is known as the continentality, very hot during summers and very hot during winters. Ocean currents along with onshore winds affect the climate of coastal areas. For example, any coastal area with warm or cold currents flowing past it will be warmed or cooled if the winds are onshore. Finally, relief plays a major role in determining the climate of a place. High mountains act as barriers for cold or hot winds. They may also cause precipitation if they are high enough and lie in the path of rain-bearing winds. The leeward side of mountains remains relatively dry. Factors affecting India's climate. Latitude. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of the country from the Rann of Kutch in the west to Mizoram in the east. Almost half of the country lying south of the Tropic of Cancer belongs to a tropical area. All the remaining area north of the tropic lies in the subtropics. Therefore, India's climate has characteristic of tropical as well as subtropical climates. Altitude. India has mountains to the north which have an average height of about 6,000 meters. India also has a vast coastal area where the maximum elevation is about 30 meters. Himalayas prevent the cold winds from Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. It is because of these mountains that this subcontinent experiences comparatively milder winter as compared to Central Asia. Pressure and winds. The climate and associated weather conditions in India are governed by the following atmospheric condition. Pressure and surface winds. Upper air circulation. Western cyclonic disturbances and tropical cyclones. India lies in the region of northeasterly winds. These winds originate from the subtropical high pressure belt of the northern hemisphere. They blow southwards, get deflected to the right due to Coriolis force and move towards the equatorial low pressure area. Generally, these winds carry little moisture as they originate and blow over land. Therefore, they bring little or no rain. Hence, India should have been an arid land, but it is not so. Let us see why. Coriolis force, an apparent force caused by the Earth's rotation. The Coriolis force is responsible for deflecting winds towards the right in the northern hemisphere, towards the left in the southern hemisphere. It is known as the Ferrel's law. The pressure and wind conditions over India are unique. During winter, there is a high pressure area north of the Himalayas. Cold dry winds blow from the region of the low pressure areas over the oceans of the south. In summer, a low pressure area develops over interior Asia as well as over northwestern India. This causes a complete reversal of the direction of winds during summer. Air moves from the high pressure area over the southern Indian Ocean in a southeasterly direction, crosses the equator, and turns right towards the low pressure areas over the Indian subcontinent. These are known as the southwest monsoon winds. These winds blow over the warm oceans, gather moisture, and bring widespread rainfall over the mainland of India. The season. The monsoon type of climate is characterized by a distinct seasonal pattern. The weather conditions generally change from one season to the other. These changes are particularly noticeable in the interior parts of the country. The coastal areas do not experience much variations in temperature, though there is variation in rainfall pattern. How many seasons are experienced in your place? Four main seasons can be identified in India: the cold weather season, hot weather season, the advancing monsoon, and the retreating monsoon, with some regional variations. The cold weather season, winter. The cold weather season begins from mid-November in North India and stays till February. December and January are the coldest months in the northern part of India. The temperature decreases from south to the north. Average temperature of Chennai on the eastern coast is between 24 degrees and 25 degrees Celsius, while in the northern plains it ranges from 10 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius. Days are warm and nights are cold. Frost is common in the north and the higher slopes of the Himalayas experience snowfall. During this season, the northeast trade winds prevail over the country. They blow from land to sea and hence. For most part of the country, it is a dry season. Some amount of rainfall occurs on the Tamil Nadu coast from these winds, as here they blow from sea to land. In the northern part of the country, a favorable high pressure region develops with light winds moving outwards from this area. Influenced by the relief, these winds blow through the Ganga Valley from the west and the northwest. The weather is normally marked by clear sky, low temperature and low humidity, and favorable variable winds. A characteristic feature of the cold weather season over the northern plains is the inflow of cyclonic disturbances from the west and the northwest. This low pressure system originate over the Mediterranean Sea and the Western Asia and move into India along with the westerly flow. They cause the much needed winter rains over the plains and snowfall in the mountains. Although the total amount of winter rainfall, locally known as Mahavat, is small, they are of immense importance for the cultivation of rabi crops. The peninsular region does not have a well defined cold season. There is hardly any noticeable seasonal change in temperature pattern during winters due to the moderating influence of the sea. India advancing monsoon, the hot weather season. Due to the apparent northward movement of the sun, the global heat belt shifts northwards. As such, from March to May, it is hot weather season in India. The influence of the shifting of the heat belt can be seen clearly from the temperature recording taking during March May at different altitudes. In March, the highest temperature is about 38 degrees Celsius recorded on the Deccan Plateau. In April, temperature in Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh are around 42 degrees Celsius. In May, the temperature of 45 degrees Celsius is common in the northwestern parts of the country. In peninsular India, the temperatures remain lower due to the moderating influence of the oceans. The summer months experience rising temperature and falling air pressure in the northern part of the country. Towards the end of May, an elongated low pressure area develops in the region, extending from the Thar Desert in the northwest of Patna, Chotanagpur Plateau in the east and southeast. Circulation of air begins to set in around this trough. A striking feature of the hot weather season is the loo. These are strong, gusty, hot, dry winds blowing during the day over the north and northwestern India. Sometimes they even continue until late in the evening. Direct exposure to these winds may even prove to be fatal. Death storms are very common during the month of May in northern India. These storms bring temporary relief as they lower the temperature and bring light rain and cool breeze. It is also the season for localized thunderstorms associated with violent winds. Torrential downpours often accompanied by hail. In West Bengal, these storms are known as the Kal Baisagi. Towards the close of the summer season, pre-monsoon showers are common, especially in Kerala and Karnataka. They help in the early ripening of the mangoes and are often referred to as mango showers. Advancing monsoon. By early June, the low pressure condition over the northern plains intensifies. It attracts the trade winds of the southern hemisphere. These southeast trade winds originate over the warm subtropical areas of the southern oceans. They cross the equator and blow in the southwesterly direction, entering the Indian peninsula as the southwest monsoon. As these winds blow over warm oceans, they bring abundant moisture to the subcontinent. These winds are strong and blow at an average velocity of 30 km per hour. With this exception of the extreme northwest, the monsoon winds cover the country in about a month. The inflow of the southwest monsoon into India brings about a total change in the weather. Early in the season, the windward side of the Western Ghat receives very high rainfall, more than 250 cm. Deccan Plateau and parts of Madhya Pradesh also receive some amount of rain in spite of lying in the rain shadow area. Maximum rainfall of this season is received in the northeastern part of the country. Mount Sindram in the southern region of the Khasi Hills receives the highest average rainfall in the world. Rainfall in the Ganga Valley decreases from the east to the west. Rajasthan and parts of the Gujarat get scanty rainfall. Another phenomena associated with the monsoon is its tendency to have breaks in rainfall. Thus, it has wet and dry spells. In other words, the monsoon rains take place only for a few days at a time. They are interspersed with rainless intervals. These breaks in monsoon are related to the movement of the monsoon trough. For various reasons, the trough and its axis keep on moving northward or southward, which determines the spatial distribution of rainfall. When the axis of the monsoon trough lies over the plains, rainfall is good in these parts. On the other hand, whenever the axis shifts closer to the Himalayas, there are longer dry spells in the plains and widespread rain occur in the mountainous catchment areas of the Himalayan rivers. These heavy rains bring in their wake, devastating floods causing damage to life, property in the plains. The frequency and intensity of tropical depressions, too, determine the amount of duration of monsoon rains. These depressions form at the end of the Bay of Bengal and cross over the mainland. Depressions follow the axis of the monsoon trough of low pressure. The monsoon is known for its uncertainties. The alternation of dry and wet spells vary in intensity, frequency, and duration. While it causes heavy floods in one part, it may be responsible for droughts in the other. It is often irregular in its arrival and its retreat. Hence, it sometimes disturbs the farming schedule of millions of farmers all over the country. Retreating post monsoon, the transition season. During October November, with the apparent movement of the sun towards the south, monsoon trough or the low pressure trough over the northern plains become weaker. This is gradually replaced by a high pressure system. The southwest monsoon winds weaken and start withdrawing gradually. By the beginning of October, the monsoon withdrew from the northern plains. The month of October and November form a period of transition from hot rainy season to a dry winter season. The retreat of the monsoon is marked by clear skies and rise in temperature. While day temperature are high, night and cool are pleasant. The land is still moist. Owing to the conditions of high temperature and humidity, the weather becomes rather oppressive during the day. This is commonly known as October heat. In the second half of October, the mercury begins to fall rapidly in northern India. The low pressure conditions over northern western India get transferred to the Bay of Bengal by early November. This shift is associated with the occurrence of cyclonic depressions which originate over the Andaman Sea. The cyclones generally cross the eastern coast of India, cause heavy and widespread rain. These tropical cyclones are often very destructive. The thickly populated deltas of the Godavari, Krishna, and the Kaveri are frequently struck by cyclones which cause great damage to life and property. Sometimes these cyclones arrive at the coast of Odisha, West Bengal, and Bangladesh. The bulk of the rainfall of the Coromandel coast is derived from depressions and cyclones. Distribution of rainfall. Part of western coast and northeastern India receive over about 400 cm of rainfall annually. However, it is less than 60 cm in western Rajasthan, adjoining parts of the Gujarat, Haryana, and Punjab. Rainfall is equally low in the interior of the Deccan Plateau and east of the Sahyadris. Why do these regions receive low rainfall? A third area of low precipitation is around Leh in Jammu and Kashmir. The rest of the country receives moderate rainfall. Snowfall is restricted to the Himalayan region. Owing to the nature of monsoons, the annual rainfall is highly variable from year to year. Variability is high in the regions of low rainfall, such as the parts of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and the leeward side of the Western Ghats. As such, while areas of high rainfall are liable to be affected by floods, areas of low rainfall are drought prone. Monsoon as a unifying bond. We already known the way the Himalayas protect the subcontinent from extremely cold winds from Central Asia. This enables northern India to have uniformly higher temperatures compared to the other areas of the same latitudes. Similarly, the Peninsula Plateau, under the influence of the sea from the three sides, has moderate temperature despite such. Here is the rainfall in centimeters, that is the annual rainfall being shown. Devastated by deluge, Chennai submerged, haze hazard on road, hint of early monsoon, early summer, a day Mumbai won't forget. These are the climatic changes that has come to in the newspaper. Moderating influences. There are great variations in the temperature condition. Nevertheless, unifying influence of the monsoon on the Indian subcontinent is quite perceptible. The seasonal alternation of the wind system and the associated weather conditions provide a rhythmic cyclic of seasons. Even the uncertainties of rain and uneven distribution are very much typical of the monsoons. The Indian landscape, its animal and plant life, its entire agriculture calendar, and the life of the people, including these festivities, revolve around this phenomenon. Year after year, people of India, from north to south and from east to west, eagerly await the arrival of the monsoon. These monsoon winds bind the whole country by providing water to get the agricultural activities in motion. The river valleys which carry this water also unite as a single river valley unit. So that's all about this chapter. If you are interested, please do like, share and subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you.